For those of you who saw the last abortion, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try 2 molds at the same time. I'm going to pour from 2 different locations on the same mold and vent these things apart. So probably gonna gate in from here, from up here for this one, and then I'm going to gate in down here across for these 3, and then vent them out the unit just in between between that bottle opener and its vent. So I'm going to just do 2 different vents and 2 different pours in the same mold and see how it turns out. Something I've never tried before. That's how all this stuff should go. You should just do stuff you've never tried before when you're super inexperienced, and the first 2 times you tried, the first time you tried it didn't turn out, right? No. But that's what I'm going to do, because I like to make things a little bit more difficult for myself, and we'll see how this thing turns out. So as you can hear, the furnace is running. The last time I did this, it took me 5.5 hours to get my burner tuned properly to get to pour this stuff. So I'm probably going to skip over the whole molding process and then just take you guys right to the pour again. That way I can cut down on my video time and my talk time. So here we go. We're going to do bronze casting attempt numero 2. So I hope you guys like it. Hopefully it turns out this time. Alright, so this is how I laid it out. I was a little bit more careful this time about how I did things. So I'm gonna vent all this stuff. I cut in, some gates and stuff and left marks on the bottom of the mold so that it would transfer to the cope, I think, or the drag, whichever it is. The opposite side, the top of the mold. And we'll see how this thing turns out. So, I probably won't show you the ram up at the top, just the pour then. And if there's more interest in this stuff, I can always do this again. This is, this is pretty easy. So, here we go. Okay, so here's what it looks like from above with the vents and the pouring basins. I've never tried to pour bronze into such a small pouring basin, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. These things may fill right away. They may not fill at all. Who knows? All I know is I got to keep this stuff hot for the pour and see what happens. So I'm going to split the mold now, and we'll see where we end up. Okay, so a little precursor before we open this thing up. I don't know if you can see that or not. They burned, but I don't see any bronze in any of my vent holes. So we had some spillage. That crucible was really freaking heavy, way too heavy to be doing this. So let's split the mold and see what we're left with. Not making any promises. This could be another huge letdown, and I'm sorry for all the noise, but I have the vent fans going and all that good stuff. So, tell you what, this aluminum doesn't fare well against that bronze. Soots it over, burns it up. All right. Oh my gosh. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you dig it? They're all in there. Every freaking one of them. Hells yeah, baby. That is what I'm talking about. As I've said before, holy shit biscuits, I cannot believe that worked. That is freaking amazing. I'm going to shut you guys off and get this stuff set up. It sounds like my burner's having a little bit of a fit. And then I'll clean this thing up and we'll take a look at what we got. But it's all there. It's all there. Alright, first things first. Here it is. The first successful bronze pour, which was 4 days after my first one. So here are the things that I cast. So you can see what the halves look like, so you can be the judge of the quality and the caliber of the cast. I just gotta be honest with you guys. I am just freaking pumped that these things turned out. So that's the stuff that I cast. These are the sides. Here's the little Mumra logo. The Thundercats logo. This is my company logo, the company initials. This is the bottle opener that I cast that has the nice AVE slogans in it, the other one. And this is how they turned out. I am beyond freaking excited about this. So there's my pouring basin, my tapered sprue, which you can clearly see, feeds and cuts right into the part. The part has great detail. This is probably my only screw up, but I knew that was going to be there. That's where the I'm having trouble with these nubs. They keep wanting to fall off and fall back into the mold. This side I was able to save and push back down, but you can see the flashing around it, how it did it. But I mean, all the wording is in there. I mean, the wording looks great. The opener looks really good. And that's all the further it went up my gate. So I mean, there wasn't a lot left. I didn't have a lot before this stuff cooled off and I ran out of gas, that's for sure. So, and I mean, I scooped the dross off this thing in the furnace, all of it, as clean as I could get it. I have a little dross scooper that I made that I can get right down in there and just skim it right off the top through the exhaust, so I don't even have to take the lid off. It came out, sat down on the thing, into the pouring shank, and then as quickly as I could muscle it and pick it up, it went right into the mold. And it was a heavy crucible. I'm gonna have to work on the grip I have on my pouring shank, because it was really cumbersome. I think it's probably too long. I'm gonna have to get my hand a little bit closer to the crucible itself to give myself better leverage. But I'm thinking about cleaning these up and keeping these as my tapered sprues. I mean, I know they're probably a little bit too short to do it, but it'd be cool to have some bronze ones. But I mean, this thing, that's how this thing turned out. I think it turned out great. For my second pour ever. So this is what I did for these. So I used 2 halves of a piece of PVC. And that's what I used for my runner. So pouring basin, down my tapered sprue, into my giant runner. that fed all 3 of these parts. And I mean, these things, I mean, you can see where these things ended. They didn't, by the time you thin this stuff down and get it thin, you run out of steam mighty quick. So you can even see the print lines in these things. I mean, there's a little bit of a defect in here where I cut too deep and probably lost some with the mold, but I think I can probably clean that up with a Dremel. I'm going to clean these up, cut the sprues off, cut the gates off, and then I'll bring this stuff back here and to do a little bit of cleanup on the flashing. So we got some flashing here, flashing around the outsides of these parts. These things are really complicated to cut in and not get any kind of flashing, just because I didn't print these coins right. I actually glued them together, and I shouldn't have done that. But those are the coins that Perry made for me. So there you are, Perry. Thank you so much. These are the first hard chrome coins that have ever been cast in the history of hard chrome. So I'll cut these up and then I'll bring everything back and show you what it looks like cleaned up. Okay, so here they are cleaned up. I'm going to probably do a little buff job, some wire wheelage. Definitely do something to clean that flashing out of there. But all in all, man, I'm really happy with how these turned out. The finish on them is really good. A couple of places they, you know, for my first bronze casting, I mean, these are pretty awesome. This one I'm a little bit disappointed in because the top coin shifted a little bit. You can see where the edge is gone here and how far it is off here. And if I start cutting in, I'll start sanding away from that face. So I know it's not the prettiest, and you can see where it collapsed around the jaw and in the eye. But I mean, all in all, the definition's pretty good. They lined up pretty good too. I'm pretty impressed. And these are the HCS coins. These things turned out real good. I like the weight of them. I like the feel of them. Finish on them's pretty nice. If I shine these up or ran these across a lapping table, all this would get really brilliant. And then it would leave the bottom of it shaded, which I might do, I don't know. Here's the other one. And I think these things turned out real good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with myself. Alright guys, so that's it. Have a fantastic weekend.